I listened back to one of these the other day. In fact, all of them the other day, because I was updating the website and everything, and I decided that, when you play the music as you come in, it ruins it. So I'm not going to do that today.
No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to ruin the start of this fine show.
I'm completely not going to do that. Now, you're coming live from somewhere completely different today. You're not in your usual abode at home.
I am not. I am back on the road. So I'm up in sunny Wakefield, and it actually is sunny today. So sort of probably about 20 miles east of Leeds. So I've just been doing some product training with one of our major reseller partners. So
sounds like you're having to whisper a little bit.
A little bit, yes.
A little bit. Is that because the baby might wake up?
No, because I can hear the people in the next room having a sales meeting. So I'm working on the basis, if I can hear them, they can hear me. So I'm just keeping the volume a little bit lower today than I normally would.
It's a good job I'm not there then, isn't it?
Absolutely. Would have been thrown out by now. Shh. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, and where is it? Did you say it was?
Wakefield.
Wakefield. What a lovely place. What a lovely place. It's a market town, isn't it, Wakefield?
Yeah. On the drive through, it looked like a very sort of traditional Yorkshire sort of pit mining industrial town. So I am on a very large industrial estate right next to the M62. So proper industrial northern heartland, I think, where I'm coming from today. But yeah, it's a beautiful day up here. It's mid-20s.
Lovely. See if they've got some special cheese before you go.
Okay. I need petrol before cheese. I'm well in the red because of
well. Now
priorities.
that is something for us to discuss today, because petrol prices are going up yet again.
Yeah,
shockingly. Maybe it's cheaper up there, though.
Well, no, I saw a $1.99 on the way through the town. So it's no cheaper up here, I can assure you.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for tuning in and listening, all the way from Nigeria there. Yeah, that's expensive, isn't it? Mind you, up there, maybe the answer is to resurrect the coal mines.
Well, not quite on a coal mine theme, but as I arrived, I pulled into the car park and a guy arrived on his bike. And I thought he'd come on his bike because there'd been the M62 had been shut and the traffic was pretty horrific. And I said, "Oh, have you come far?" He said, "Yeah, not too far, only about 50 miles. Like, right, okay. So he's biked in from, I think he said it was from Ripon, which I think is North Yorkshire, 50 miles down to West Yorkshire. So that was a pretty impressive start to the day, getting 50 miles in the legs before 10 o'clock.
I wonder how many more people are going to do that in the future if the prices keep going up. Or maybe they'll just stay at home. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. In the background, yet again this week, we've got the Energy by Light. Stephen says actually his laptop might not survive the whole 45 minutes that we're going to be on air today. But if you plug it into an Energy by Light, I mean, it produces energy by light. So it'll be absolutely fine. We're going to be...
How much Bill's just asked you?
How much is 1 litre of petrol in the UK? Same as a bar of gold. Pretty close to that anyway. It's it depends which region you're in. I think at the moment diesel around here is about 173. That's bound to go up after tonight. And unleaded is 156, I'm going to say, something like that.
So in old money, it's about £8 a litre for diesel, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
What was it when you started to drive, Graham, many moons ago?
Yeah.
What was it? What can you remember what it was?
It was about 36p. It really was.
Yeah.
Really was. Crazy. Now listen, we're going to bring our special guest on. Hello to... She suddenly perked up. Oh!
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you both doing?
Thanks for joining me. Now you're no longer a live virgin. You've done this yourself the other day.
Yesterday, in fact.
Yeah, yesterday.
Ignore the random headset. My neighbours are having work done, so I had to literally go out and buy this yesterday. But look, it's my brand's colours, so it's all good.
Nice.
It's really nice. So how was it for you yesterday? How did you find it doing one of these for the first time?
Yeah, it was absolutely fine. I think because I do like Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, it's not exactly too scary, is it? You kind of forget that people might actually watch, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that spoils it sometimes. No, we do tend to sometimes tend to generate a little crowd, which is fine. That's nice. I mean, is it for you? A quick question, because you've now ventured into doing that lives on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is it for you a little bit of a disappointment that video is so squashed in terms of the algorithm on LinkedIn, and the fact that people don't really give up any time to watch things like these lives in general?
It doesn't really bother me because it won't stop me from doing them. So
Absolutely, that's the correct answer. Yeah.
You know, I think like I often miss lives anyway. If I catch them, I watch them. If I don't, I don't. And likewise, if people catch mine, great. If they don't, they're lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the spirit.
It is the spirit. And the thing is as well, I think you're being very proactive and progressive as well in joining the crowd, because, you know, when I speak to my son, who we do a live on a Friday, he's 20.
Yeah.
I did say he was 21 the other day. I got into trouble for that because his birthday's coming up. So, but he's 20, and he doesn't get LinkedIn the other way around, because he doesn't understand why all of these old people are just posting reams and reams of text on the screen. Because he said no one's going to watch that read that in years to come. Absolute nonsense. You know, because everything else is that, right? It's like quick flick through, etc. And LinkedIn is like that sometimes, you know.
But I think it depends on who's creating the content. So if I see a video by someone, I think, oh, they're quite good anyway, their content's interesting, I'm more likely to watch. When it depends on how much text only grabs your attention and all the rest of it, doesn't it? So you keep on scrolling, or you stop and read or watch or whatever it might be.
Graham, enlighten me on this. You mentioned before about algorithms, etc. Are you saying that videos and lives are sort of directed away from people's fields? Is that what feeds? Is that what you were suggesting, or they're not naturally?
It doesn't naturally get the same sort of likes and views and pushed up into place in the same way that certain other things, like polls, for example, which you know, just happen to
which
be
I love,
favorite of mine, do get. I mean, Kevin, the long form content is king. I mean, it's great, but I'm just saying there's a generation coming up that don't absorb the long form content, and maybe, you know, things will change in time.
But see, I have notifications turned off for lives. So I do. So that's why I kind of miss quite a lot. So unless I actually click to attend, then I don't get notified by them. But it's the same. I turned it off for newsletters as well. So because I just got bombarded with it. And
but I just say yes to everything.
Do you?
I just say yes. Yeah, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound is what I say. I mean, the point is, when you turn things off, you don't know what you might be missing.
Well,
you know?
I still see stuff coming up in my feed though for newsletters, so I don't miss completely. And then at least it's my choice as opposed to just being bombarded with spam sometimes.
Yeah, so LinkedIn give you the choice. Do you want to see this or not? No, I don't want to see this. Well, we're still going to give you some of it anyway.
Exactly.
Regardless of what you've said.
Yeah.
So Graham, are you saying there's a LinkedIn pecking order? So polls go to the top, videos go to the bottom, and everything else goes somewhere in between?
That's right.
And why, as to the layman, why is that done to what end purpose?
Well, polls were an obvious choice, and that's why 2 years ago I sent it on polls, because it was really obvious. Because at the end of the day, it's about engagement, isn't it? If you ask someone a series of, to select from a series of nonsensical answers, then people are going to press the button. Boom, 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 boom. It's an easy look. You go to an airport, or you go to a shop, or you even go to a toilet these days. As you come out, there's a little row of people: happy smiley face, not so happy smiley face, really grumpy face. Press the button. People love pressing buttons. People, it's very, very easy engagement, isn't it? What's behind that engagement is the more interesting thing, and that's what I was writing about yesterday, which is that it's all very well to do one poll or one post, etc., and from the feedback that you get, go, well, that's what people think. You can't just base it on one. People go and, if you want to study something, go and study Q methodology out there, and then you'll find out a little bit more about the fact that it's not what people necessarily say. It's about why they have said what they've said. And, people's psychology is a little bit more complex than the fact that all that they press A, that's what I believe. That's all I'm saying. So, Louisa, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Spend time on LinkedIn.
That's brilliant. So do I.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Well, it does feel like that some days, right?
Possibly. What do I do? So I'm a business mentor, and I help people with like strategy, accountability, acting as a sounding board, giving them ideas, direction, having lots of fun, different conversations with them, really, and helping them achieve what they want to achieve.
And
Simple.
mainly small business owners, is it?
Yeah.
What is it about small business owners that? Why do they need mentoring? What is it that they can't grasp?
I think that, so my background's really varied. So I've worked in corporate, I've worked in SME, I've worked in lots of different industries, from finance to the music industry to F1 to everything else. Whereas I think a lot of the people I tend to work with, they've only ever worked in that one industry. So that me coming in and giving a very different perspective. And also, I often say this, I'm quite honest. And I think I've inherited a lot of my dad's personality traits, and he was Dutch, and they're very straight talking. So it seems to be kind of like a novelty that I actually just tell people as it is. I don't really tend to sugarcoat it, and that seems to be weirdly appreciated.
Oh, I can completely get that. I mean, Stephen will know because he works for a Dutch company. They really do just tell the truth, don't they?
Oh, there's it's straight to the point, and it's actually quite refreshing. It's interesting when some colleagues of mine have come over to the UK. When they've engaged with some UK people, they've sort of found that direct approach quite difficult to handle. They've almost, because we, like you say, we do almost sugarcoat things, or we sort of beat around the bush, don't we, in this country? They're just like, let's just get straight to it. So it's a style I like, but I say when I've seen them engage with some UK people, they've been, whoa, hang on a second. This is not what we're used to. But it's probably really what people want. We don't, they don't time waste. They just crack on.
I think that's it. I remember being told in my 20s that I was a little bit too abrupt, and from there I kind of adjusted slightly, and I'm a little bit more, I'd say it's an age thing probably as well, of probably a bit nicer in my approach. So I'm direct, but I will kind of explain my reasons why, and before I start working with someone, I kind of say, look, be warned, I am direct. I can either give it to you straight, or I can kind of just do it in a slightly nicer way without hurting your feelings. But thankfully, people still want to work with me.
Now, I didn't know that about you until you said it a minute ago, but that you've worked in some very sexy industries then. I mean, you said music industry and F1. Is that right?
Yeah.
Come on. You've got to tell us a little bit more.
What?
So F1, what were you doing F1? You were polishing the front of the spoilers, or were you lapside giving Coulthard instructions? Get behind him.
So I have zero interest in F1, and I worked there. I didn't work there for very long. Probably, I don't know. It was like a temporary position as I relocated from Manchester to Northamptonshire, and I worked doing analytical work, so KPIs, and nothing very exciting and sexy about that. And then in the music industry, I worked for a guitar amp brand, and I did like the HR, the recruitment, the mentoring of the young staff, all sorts, you name it, I kind of did it, but I met some cool people at the same time.
Yeah.
When Graham asked about what you'd done, he really wasn't that interested in the F1. He just wanted to get straight to the music, but he was.
I kind of guessed that.
No, I was genuinely interested.
I'll ask about F1, and I'll quote a driver from about 30 years ago to show I've got absolutely no interest in F1. Who did you meet? That's what he's basically saying.
I do feel, Louis, so in your own marketing, that you really ought to push those things to the top. Maybe embellish it a little bit more. It's just like I was there when Hamilton won his first race. doing the KPIs, and I was.
It was when they had like the drivers coming in, and like everyone else was really excited, and I'm just like.
And and Glastonbury wouldn't have happened that year if it wasn't for me doing the spreadsheets. But yeah, I mean, that's just you could really push it there.
It was the same when I worked at Kellogg's though as well, and
where Kellogg's?
Kellogg's, yeah. So I had to. So I was a PA to the sales director, and I had to organise a leadership dinner with a well-known England cricketer. I can't remember his name. And again, like my friends were like really excited. I'm like. Yeah.
I have no idea who that is. That's what you think.
Did you get a choice of breakfast in the morning? Did they share out like little variety boxes at the Kellogg's?
You got an amazing discount.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be handy at the minute, wouldn't it? With the way prices are, we could. And is that card still valid, or did they cut it up when you left?
Sadly not. Gutted.
Yeah. So who are your who's your dream kind of client then?
I love working with creatives, but I've got that. I was saying yesterday that I've got that very much that left to right side brain. So I'm really creative in my thinking, but at the same time, I'm really strategic and analytical as well. So I know what creatives are like in terms of you can kind of get carried away with your own ideas and everything else and go off on a tangent. But then I'm very good at bringing people back and working in a way that isn't necessarily the norm. I don't like to just do what everyone else does. I find that a little bit dull.
Yeah. Well, that's why me and Stephen work together. See, I'm
win-win.
I'm the creative, and Stephen pulls me back into track.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, there is kind of yin and yang with a lot of business, and it's important, isn't it? Because sometimes some people can only see things from one perspective, and personally, being both a creative and neurodivergent as well, I think it's really quite it's been really quite helpful over the years when I surrounded myself with the right people to get the work done properly. By properly, I mean that they care about the finite details where I lose track of that because I just don't care. But in terms of the larger picture, I've sat in boardrooms where people have gone, right, there's just it's going to take us years to get from there to there. And you go, what about that way? And they go, whoa, really?
Absolutely.
We don't need to do all that to get there. No, you don't. You can just go like that. Do you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about kind of keeping things simple. And like my son, he's on the autism spectrum as well. So because
there's another one of us.
Exactly.
Well done. High five. Join the club.
So because I fully understand him, and I kind of feel like the more he's great, so he's only 5.5. So the more I see his quirks develop, the more I think, I see that in myself. I see that in myself. And I think that kind of gives me that different perspective as well, because as you say, why go that way when you can just go cut out all the noise?
Absolutely. Now you must deal then with a number of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, or
people,
or just people that have stuttered into business working from home. How have you found their ergonomics?
I can't say I really go into those conversations too much.
There you go.
I know.
Those are the conversations we do go into. So just really to get a gauge of what you know about ergonomics today. Also to give you the opportunity to potentially win some ergonomic equipment, care of back at Elkhuizen, who sponsor this as well. And to make Stephen look bad, we have devised a game.
That's not difficult.
So, do you have a mobile phone with you? Preferably one that's got smart button things on it. Perfect. Right. So, in a minute, we're going to play the game. Anyone that's watching, you can play the game as well, as per the normal rules. And all you've got to do is you're going to go to vvox.app in your browser. So if you type vevox.app in your browser, and then there's going to be a little code that will come up on screen in a minute, and you put that in there and your name, and then we can play. So let me get on and do that.
If Chris Barlow's listening in, he needs to join. He's usually a regular participant, isn't it?
absolutely. We always love it when Chris plays.
So what do I do? Enter a session ID.
Yeah, which will be coming up very shortly. There we go. It's 128 892 686. That number again for all of you lovely people out there is 128 892 686. Thank
I
you.
was going to say, Graham, you didn't do it in your children in need voice the first time, but you didn't disappoint with the second time.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so I thought I'd bring it back round. So when I click this and start the session, you should see the first question coming up any second now, Louisa. Right. So now, when I said this is an ergo quiz, obviously it's called the Great Nearly Ergo Quiz. So some of these questions may be a little bit kind of off-piste a little bit. So this is one where you can actually draw on screen. Okay. So where is the Van de Graaff generator in this photo? It's hidden. You can't see it at the moment. But where do you feel it is?
Oh my God. What have I let myself in for?
I ask the same question every week, Louisa, and I still come back for more.
So you can draw somewhere on the screen, put where you feel that. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. So going to close that. Let's have a look. See where.
Can you fail massively, by the way?
Sorry.
Can you fail massively?
Yeah, it's actually there. Look at the top where that large. That's that. Can you see? If you think about it now, you can see where the hair is being pulled towards that general direction.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
That's how you spell Van de Graaff generator for all of you that love your prog music. Right. Okay. Where would you find the Sea of Tranquility? Again, not necessarily an ergonomic principle. Saturn, the Moon, Birmingham, or the Lake District?
May I just add that if you were to have a pub quiz, I would be the one that actually gets 0 answers correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then you're in good company.
Louisa, you and I would be the non-dream team. Then I think if we were partnered up in that sort of thing.
So
I deliberately don't get involved in them.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's close the poll and let's have a look. The correct answer is actually the moon. The Sea of Tranquility is actually on the moon. Yes. Who composed the Minute Waltz? Is it Chopin, Strauss, Johnny Rotten, or Mozart?
The minute. Guess.
Me too.
Good guesses from both of you. Strauss, Mozart. No one going for Johnny Rotten. Interesting. Correct answer is called Chopin. Okay. Which country first made use of paper money? Was it China, America, England, or Spain? America, Spain. Correct answer, folks, is, believe it or not, China.
Do you know what? I wish I went for my gut instinct, because I thought the moon on the other question. I thought China on this one, and I'm just like, nah.
Yeah. The thing is, you leave this quiz knowing slightly less than you did when you started, right? Now here we go with the ergonomics. According to the Backer website, so this is the Backer Elkhuysen website, the company that Stephen works for, Work and Move software includes a bar of chocolate, 4 tools, analysis of your day, guidance on sitting, or notes on the new Kasabian album. And we have 1 for 4 tools and 1 for guidance on sitting. Okay. Which one did you go for, Stephen?
One of those two.
Yeah. Correct answer is 4 tools. Okay.
I was thinking then of the old Two Ronnie sketch of 4 candles.
4 candles, yeah. 4 tools. Yeah. I want 4 candles. What? Here are 4 candles. No. 4 candles, handles for forks. Yeah, that's the one. According to the Backer website, they support our resellers with tea and biscuits, marketing support, comprehensive marketing materials, samples by the bucket load, or calls from Stephen. Which is it, Stephen?
One of the above.
The correct answer
I do
apparently
think
is comprehensive marketing materials, although they may get multiple calls from Stephen as well.
I
They
did
get
think it
all-
would be the marketing materials, but I thought I'd just go for Coath and
Yeah.
Steven anyway.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah, that's the best part, obviously, of dealing
Yeah.
with Backer. No, the tea and biscuits.
What is the name of the new Radiohead side project? There you go. Radiohead, a couple of members of Radiohead have formed a side project. It's a great album. But what's the name of the project? Is it the side, the smile, the sense, the sentence, or the series? Oh, we've got 3 people now. Look at that. Someone else has joined. Hi to whoever it is that's also joined. The side, the smile, the sense. The correct answer is, one of you will get this right, the smile.
Well done, whoever that was.
Yeah, well done. The last question. You said, according to the page on the Scrum Room, this is a product on the Backer Elkhuysen website. The ideal place for the daily stand-up meeting is at the coffee shop, in a meeting space, at the desk, in the workplace, or wherever you can find a space. Which one is it? There we go. 1 for in the workplace, 2 for wherever you can find a space. The correct answer was, should we see, in the workplace. Interesting sentence that. The ideal place for the daily stand-up meeting is in the workplace. Might be.
Who'd have guessed?
Who'd have guessed? Hey, let's see how we did.
0.
Okay, so somebody got absolutely none of them right.
Woohoo!
Somebody got 1 out of 8, and somebody did really well with half of the questions answered correctly. Who was that? Stephen. Chris came second. Well done, Chris, because you only answered. I think he only answered 1 question, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he still came second. Louisa, better luck next time.
Oh.
Well, you did well though. Maybe Stephen can still sort you out with something. I don't know.
Yeah, of course we can.
Depends how generous. What do you work with there?
In terms of
Are you working with a laptop?
Desktop.
Computer. Okay.
I was going to say, looking at it, the way Louise is looking, she looks as if she's looking straight ahead. Therefore, she has a screen pretty much at the right height. So she's not got the old tech neck, as it's known, isn't it? The old looking down. So that's a good start.
Oh, look, Kevin was playing by sort of answering in the comments, which of course I couldn't see at the time because you know I'm off into a different land, a different screen as quizmaster. But there you are. But he actually got a couple of those right. Kevin, next time, bring your phone, do play. You could win a prize. So yeah, you probably do find that a lot of people working from home haven't actually thought about their ergonomics.
See, I kind of remember it from the days of working in the corporate world and having to do all the e-learning and having to have your eyes at the right level of the screen, your chair, your arms in the right position, you're sitting up straight, all the rest of it. So the sight of like my 3 screens is all the right height.
Yeah.
Think about these things.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's important. Yeah. Well, maybe you could start. Yeah, I am impressed. Maybe you could start talking to your clients about it, just making sure, because when they're like that, I mean, one thing for certain is, if they're all like hunching all day long, then and they're in pain, they're not going to be as productive. That's the thing, isn't it? So you can do all of that great mentoring with them, but then if they're in pain, they're just
no good.
It's no good.
So no good.
That's why we talk about it. And here's one for you that we're something we're trying to really change out there, and we need the help of people like you to change this as well. How many times do you see a post on social media where someone's using a laptop and it isn't in ergonomic accessories?
All the time.
Yeah. Do you use Canva yourself?
I do use Canva.
Yeah, right. If you go into Canva and you try and find a stock image of someone using a laptop, I don't think there's a single image in there of anyone sitting using a laptop properly. It's always like, or like, you know, leant over, lying on the floor with the cat coming over the top of the back of them, etc. You know, but
I'll tell you what will be interesting, Graham. I know you're going next week and I am, but not on the same days. But obviously it's Clerkenwell Design Week next week, where all the furniture manufacturers throw open their doors for visitors. It'll be interesting when we walk around how many sort of mock desk setups we see with a laptop in that sort of flat position on the desk. In fact, that's one thing I'll do, and I think you should do as well, is let's get as many photos as we can of incorrect use of laptops in furniture showrooms next week.
Yeah, you know, that because the thing is, what people don't really understand is the damage that can be done to them physically from working incorrectly, especially now people are working a lot of the time from home. You know, it can lead to some really horrible conditions. I actually once wrote a piece, Louisa, where I actually found somebody who was in a state after having had a car accident.
Yeah.
Okay. And the whole piece was called 30 Seconds or 30 Years. Their conditions absolutely matched somebody who had just been working at a computer for 30 years. Right.
It's crazy.
In terms of back injury, musculoskeletal conditions, etc. One happened in 30 seconds after a car crash. One just happened over a period of time of working incorrectly. But it can actually be thoroughly paralyzing.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't consider it.
But especially thinking of the people Louisa engages with. If you're talking about, you know, what did you call them, solopreneurs, Graham? Or
solopreneurs, yeah.
You know, people who are sort of running their own business, and they are the sort of human resource to the business. You know, it has a massive impact to them if they have staff absenteeism, isn't it? In terms of, if someone's away, so if they're out the business isn't functioning. So actually, it's even more in the interest of those businesses with more finite human resources to make sure they are avoiding pain and injury that they may be causing themselves.
Do you think though that a lot of issues as well now stem from co-working spaces? So for me, I like to work from home, and I'd love to kind of go out and work from somewhere else, but it's just too much hassle to go to the closest co-working space. But because I've had it ingrained of me from like in my 20s of doing the whole e-learning, someone's coming to check my desk and all the rest of it, that I like my laptop screen to be at the right height. So even if I work from my laptop downstairs, I'll have my laptop on a stand, and then I'll have a separate keyboard, because it's all about the setup and it's about where your hands are and all the rest. See, I know this stuff.
Yeah.
And gold star for me, eh?
Yeah.
But because
Louisa, you're in you in my opinion,
you are in the minority.
You're in the vast minority of people who are.
Yeah.
Surely not.
No. Surely yes.
Surely yes.
Because like.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here doing this show.
True.
because quite frankly, I mean, it's something we sometimes feel like you're going like over and over and over the same thing over and again. But just take those images on Canva. If companies realize that this was vital, right? That people got this, you know, started to get this right, they wouldn't be putting images out there like that, because it's dangerous. It's the same kind of dangerous as when we used to advertise cigarettes in babies' mouths.
Yeah,
it's that kind of dangerous. Right?
Every time the BBC does an article about working from home or whatever, it's one of two stock images. It's a laptop flat on a kitchen table, or it's someone in the most bizarre position sitting on their sofa with a laptop on their knee.
Yeah.
It's always, isn't it, Graham? It's the same couple of stock images that they go to, and it's things like that sort of perpetuates this is the way to work. So it's fantastic to hear from yourself, but I would say you're in probably 5%, 10%, Graham, of the working population.
It is absolutely true. It's really
it's the absolute minority you're in, which is great that you're doing it, but so many people are just doing nothing because they're picking up and they're seeing imagery, be it on LinkedIn, be it on the internet, websites selling other home products, they see that and they believe that is the way to work because no one tells them differently.
But I pick up on what Louisa said as well about the co-working spaces. What you're saying is that, if you then go off to work at a co-working space, the ergonomic setup isn't there.
Yeah.
But that's why manufacturers are beginning to make more and more equipment which is lighter to carry, it's easier to set up, it doesn't take a lot to take it with you. But also co-working spaces, if they're smart, might actually carry some of that equipment with them. Give people the option to set up their equipment properly in your co-working space.
Sorry for the noise. I'm just finding a product that I can probably show you here. And this is a new one I've just been training the team on this morning here. So let's just get that. So if you can see that product there, Louisa, and that basically is a laptop stand that sticks to the back of the laptop. So if you can see here, it's got 3 sort of adhesive points. One, 2, 3. And then what you do when it then sticks to the back of the laptop, you carry it around with you and it creates, that's it. It creates that. So you don't need,
isn't it?
Yeah, of course you need your separate keyboard.
Yeah.
But what you've got is you've got the laptop stand in effect is integrated with your laptop. So that's one of the things that we've
Stephen might send you one of those.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
And then you can go, look at that.
Look how cool this is.
Just like that.
See, when I used to manage the HR and I took new starters on when I worked in the music industry, just to grab your attention again.
His ears pricked up there, didn't they?
I know. I used to make sure that people actually had their computers and stuff at the right heights and that their desks, and I try and encourage that because I know what it's like if you don't have it set up properly. As you say, you get that crick in your neck. And there's nothing worse than that. And it doesn't go away and it just gradually gets worse and worse and worse. So it's so important just to have that right setup, especially from working on a laptop. Otherwise, you're going to be in pain. Who wants that?
Yeah, there it is in black and white from Chris. I stopped at services yesterday, got out my laptop stand, keyboard and mouse. It took 30 seconds to set up. 30 seconds. I looked around. There must have been half a dozen people working just on laptops.
Chris,
that is the reality.
Chris is listening, but I sent your samples yesterday, Chris, so you should be getting them today or tomorrow. He's been quite rightly badgering me for some samples, as Chris is one of our sort of major partners. So they're on their way. So that Ultra stand, Chris, you should have it if it's not today, later tomorrow. And obviously we'll get one out to Louisa in the post as soon as we can.
That's a great example. And that's actually where Stephen and I first met at service station. Yeah. It was planned. But when we were there, and it's a lovely posh service station as well.
It was Gloucester Services, wasn't it?
I love you, Gloucester Services. Yeah. If you ever Gloucester way, Louisa, that's the one.
A little bit far from me.
Yeah. But if you ever are, Gloucester Services is the one. But lovely service station. But there were just loads of people sat there with laptops, and quite often it's not just like for 30 minutes or whatever, it's for 2 hours or so, typing away. No adjustment whatsoever. So people don't. You are one of the minority that have got into that habit.
But it's the same with how you have your chair though as well, isn't it? It's all about like the right height for your chair, making sure you're at like right angles and all this, and your arms and all that kind of stuff that people just don't think about. Because I know that
it's the Dutch in you.
It is.
It really is. Yeah, because in Holland they are like that. They do think like that. They actually think, how am I sitting? How is my posture? Am I doing this right, etc. Over here, we just like
And Graham, and their first question isn't how much does it cost, which is the classic UK. Whenever we go to shows or exhibitions, that looks nice. How much does it cost?
Yeah.
Not what value can it add? How much have I got to spend on it? It's just like.
Well, the Dutch have always been really good at sort of like seeing the value in your lifestyle, which is really good. I mean, they invented some great sound products over the years, for example, and it was always about sort of like its quality. It provides better lifestyle choice. What's it giving me? That's what they would ask. What's it giving me? Not Is that expensive? It is the typical English thing. Is that expensive?
Oh, I don't know. My dad was pretty tight. my dad was very, very Dutch, but I think, or unless it was just from spending too much time in the UK, that he really did become that real stingy kind of person. But there was still that element of he had an engineering mindset. So because of being an engineer, he still wanted to know like how things worked. Was it proper? Was it worth the value of what it was going to cost?
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I think absolutely fine. So when's your next live? What are you doing next live on LinkedIn? So we can tune in and hear that, because that will be good.
2 weeks time. So it's going to be bi-weekly, which is quite nice because then it's not too full on. Except yesterday we did the live on here, and then we jumped straight over to Instagram, did a live there. Woo! And then I know, and then I did a live in my Facebook group last night as well. So
you had a full-on day of live yesterday.
Absolutely. Full house.
Poor people,
Facebook
poor
tick,
people.
Insta tick, LinkedIn tick.
The kids were like, "What's on TV, Mum?" Me. All day. Are you fed up of me yet?
That's good, right?
Yeah, no, it's right.
But I find it though, like you can create video content just on your own, and then you could like go into lives, collaborate with other people, and that's much more interesting,
of course,
than just talking to yourself.
No, absolutely. And do you put any of those lives anywhere else? Do they become anything else, or do they just
at some point they will?
Yeah, absolutely.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Well, people can do that with this. There is now a website, wowergonomics.com. As some people have already discovered, you can go there and you can listen to stuff live, or you can listen to stuff that's pre-recorded on Spotify. It's just the best way, isn't it? You can just browse into it. You know, Chris that listens loves to listen to us whilst he's traveling down the motorway.
And also, Graham, you can also go back to the old episodes to realise how good we are now compared to when we first started. You think this is bad, you want to listen to some of the first shows from 2020. So,
and people often do just to have a laugh,
amuse themselves at our expense.
Yeah. Well, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you at last. It's a great way to actually speak to people for the first time. Is to get them on as guests. So we haven't properly spoken before now, but it's great to speak to you. Love your content. We'll keep coming back to it. And
I'd say I love your polls, but as you know, I hate polls.
But mine are the best of the bad bunch. Yeah.
But I did comment on one of your polls to say that I hate polls, but as you do them every day religiously, that's acceptable because it's part of your brand now, and I expect to see a poll from you every day. Whereas when someone's just jumping on the bandwagon as clickbait, those I'm not a fan of. So I kind of make allowances for yours now.
And I even do polls just to make the point about polls as well, as I did today with the Harry Styles one, which is just complete clickbait. People, why are you answering it?
I answered it.
I answered it too.
But why? Why are you bothering? Go and read the proper one today about marketing. It's so much more in depth.
I did that, but I preferred the Harry Styles one because I just heard it on the radio and thought, I need to log my opinion on this song. So
it just proves the point, which people love, those little snappy little bites of information, and that may determine where content goes in the future. We just have to keep our eye on it, don't we?
But is it that, or is it just more the fact that today's poll was a little bit more fun and interesting than something about that was a bit more serious and general business chat? Because sometimes you just like to have that, I always describe it as when I used to work in the workplace and you're making a drink and you're just chatting about anything random. That's to me what sometimes polls are. It's just the random crap that you used to chat about.
I think Louisa just said your polls are crap. If I basically paraphrase that sentence.
Do you know what? I really don't care as long as they're popular crap. That's
what I think about my content when I just talk nonsense. It's just random crap.
Absolutely fine. It's fine. As long as it brings people to the key for me, very quickly before you go, the key for me when it comes to marketing is this: produce all the content you want. Get all the likes, all the views, everything that you want. But if it doesn't actually lead to pounds, shillings, and pence in the bank, then it's crap.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's
Are you
got
saying
to
that, so there's good
actually-
crap as well as bad crap? Is that what we're saying?
What I'm saying is, I do think that there is a lot of rhetoric out there, shall we say, from a lot of people on LinkedIn, where all they talk about is how you can create this mechanism by which you create engagement, and that engagement in itself is enough because it will lead to social selling. But I do actually believe that that's wrong, because you can sell yourself on something like LinkedIn, but ultimately, if there isn't a point of conversion, then it isn't worthwhile. Yeah.
You've got to know what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think it is from showing those different elements. Like I posted something a few weeks back where it was like it was a Friday post, and I did like 4 pictures of me of like director of sarcasm, blah 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 blah, like, and there was like 4 versions, and it's completely irrelevant. But then actually you kind of also get a sense of my personality, which I think, using polls and all the clickbait crap, you also get a sense of what someone's personality is like. And as you say, that also helps when it comes to people wanting to buy from you, because they've got a flavour of what you're like, rather than just all the serious, intense business stuff.
Corporate stuff, yeah.
But even then, even when you've produced that, you've got to have a point of action.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's no good, because I find a lot of people get quite frustrated because they've actually gained momentum in the sort of personality and popularity stakes, if you like, on a platform like LinkedIn. They actually started to see more traction in terms of the amount of people that are actually liking what they're doing or commenting on what they're doing, but they're still not making any money.
You've got to know why you're doing it, what value you're going to gain from it, as opposed to just pointlessly posting or thinking you've got a strategy when actually it's zero strategy.
And stop these posts where you sound desperate for business. I hate that.
Please buy from me, please.
Goodness, buy from me today because I need to feed my family. Yeah, of course, we all need to do that. Actually, at the end of the day, it's you've got to be talking about the value you're going to give back to that client. That's exactly the real reason. Pleasure seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good rest of the day. Thanks for coming on. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You've got to go, haven't you?
I'm going to get kicked out of this room any moment. So I was going to say, great show. And next week the roles are reversed, and you're on the road, and I'm usually in the normal place. Aren't you in Clerkenwell next week for the show?
That is the plan. The plan of action is that next week I will be coming live from Clerkenwell. It means a 3 a.m. start for some of us. But
it'll be worth it.
No, I think it will be worth it. It'll be interesting to see what's going down in Clerkenwell. I'll be able to give you a pre-taster of Clerkenwell. I'll be able to tell you where to avoid.
Yeah.
Don't bother going to see that. That's completely pointless. And where to go, where all of the cool kids are hanging out and all of that sort of thing. So if you want to know more about Clerkenwell Design Week, what's going on, get a little flavour for it, do tune in next week, and we'll be talking about that live on Wow Ergonomics. But for now, we're going to leave you with this. Thank you for joining us today. We'll just play you out with a little acoustic merriment. Or not.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
See you next week.